What's going on, guys? We need to talk about Andor. And it doesn't have to be and or. It can be both, if you get the joke. Now, check this out. This is the best of Star Wars. This is exactly how this series, the entire series, always should have been, in my opinion. Superb writing, fantastic acting, great casting. There's so much here to like. It's got that gritty, real Star Wars feel from the very first 1977 flick, where things are futuristic and also in the same breath and at the same moment also a little bit grungy, a little bit dirty, a little bit worn down. And it's sort of what gave the original Star Wars part of that original charm, right? But this in particular, right? So this is basically the lead up to Rogue One. We've got Diego Luna back playing Cassian Andor, and of course he starred as the same role in Rogue One alongside Felicity Jones, and by all accounts that movie was pretty damn good. Was it the best? No, but I mean, since Disney took over Star Wars, it's been, let's say, a rough go. I think that's probably the best way to put this. Rogue One in and of itself was good, all right? Not amazing, not terrible. It was good. And it actually gave me some hope, because at that point, if you guys remember, just after the initial release of The Force Awakens, 1 year after, we got Rogue One. And The Force Awakens was, of course, a little bit of a rehash, just kind of a ripoff of 1977's A New Hope. The super giant Death Star instead of the regular Death Star, instead of one planet that can destroy a solar system. I mean, you know, they upped the stakes. It's a little bit goofy with some of the rehash, but it was nice to see Han Solo and Chewie back. It was nice to see some of those old elements, right? But that movie wasn't the best. It was a retread. Then we get Rogue One, and it was fantastic. At least by comparison, what we know now in hindsight, what the Star Wars universe unfortunately has turned into. Again, back then it was good. I was excited for Star Wars. Then these new movies came out and just really kind of destroyed, well, the franchise, I guess you could say. So there we go. That's the first thing. Now, there are a lot of criticisms here regarding Andor. The thing that kills me about this is the way people are complaining on YouTube about this series is so bizarre. And here's why I'm going to tell you, because the criticisms are this, right? There's no Jedi in this. We've got 4 episodes released and we have no mention of the Force or the Jedi. Damn it, it's a big galaxy, right? It's a big damn galaxy. Like, I'm tired of having every single show have to tie in a rehash of Luke Skywalker, for crying out loud. Stop. We don't need that. It's a big galaxy with a lot of compelling stories and a lot of behind the scenes stuff that had to happen to make the rebellion go. There's a lot of complaints, of course, on the internet, because the internet complains, and I'll do some of that on this channel as well when we get to Game of Thrones and the House of the Dragon, but don't let me derail here. They're saying no corny jokes, right? It doesn't feel like Star Wars. Are you kidding me? This is literally, as far as I'm concerned, the way Star Wars always should have been. Some corny, funny moments, edited in properly, some nice one-liners. The thing about Star Wars is it was always about compelling and fantastic characters, great acting, at least in terms of the casting, right? Han Solo, Carrie Fisher, carried the original series. Just amazing, right? I just don't get some of those criticisms where they say it doesn't feel like Star Wars because you don't have a Jedi show up, kick the door in, and save everybody with a lightsaber. It doesn't make any sense. We just had that with Obi-Wan, right? And it was terrible. Well, my opinion. It was pretty bad. There was a lot of things in there to not like. But there were some okay moments. But other than that, for the most part, I was disappointed with Obi-Wan. If you can't slam dunk the Jedi story between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, what in the world are you even doing? Okay, I digress there a little bit. Back to Andor. All right, it is a big galaxy. There's a lot of stories happening. I mean, wouldn't you like to know what kind of shenanigans Han Solo was up to off screen in his smuggling type days when he dropped his cargo at the first sign of an Imperial cruiser, we're told, right? Well, what caused all that? What does that even look like? I think with Cassian Andor, with this new series, this is good. This is exactly what that looks like. It's stealing from the Empire. It's selling parts on the black market. It's trying to evade arrest. It's trying to make a living while doing it, trying to keep the ones around you safe. It's interesting. It's fun. It's, let's say, dark fun. A entire rebellion across an entire galaxy doesn't happen by accident. There's a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of people putting their neck on the line. And in particular, right, we see that there's sort of this imperial bureaucracy, this behind the scenes, egos clashing, people going against each other, trying to climb the corporate ladder, as it were, except in this case, it's military and they're slaughtering people, right? There's a lot of modern day parallels. I'm not going to say it because YouTube might flag the video, but you know exactly what I'm thinking here. They're talking about increasing surveillance. They're talking about maybe even replacing this security force. And the interesting and notable thing is 4 episodes in, the thing I do love about it is they're not trying to nostalgia farm. And what I mean by that is we haven't seen a single stormtrooper yet. That's fantastic. We haven't seen a Jedi with a lightsaber. I hope we don't. I hope we go the entire damn series and there's not even a mention of the Force or a Jedi showing up to save the day. I don't want to see that. We've seen that over and over and over again. Maybe at the end, maybe in a critical moment, maybe somebody says, "May the Force be with you." That would be enough for me. That's all I need. We don't have to have a Jedi save the damn day every single day. It gets nauseating. The story, it's a slow burn. It starts slow, intentionally slow. And I'm glad Disney Plus, it's rare that I am going to say positive things about Disney and Star Wars because they've been such a disaster this past decade. But I'm really glad they released 3 episodes at the same time. Because if they had dropped the first one and then the second one, I could see how the grumblings may have started. Episode 3 starts to cement how this is going to be action-packed. It just seems like it's going to be backloaded. Fine by me. Perfect, right? Let's tell a good story, no matter how long it takes. Decent dialogue, good characters, great charisma. Notice there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of sort of risk assessment. There's a lot of this cloak and dagger type stuff because they're going against the entire imperial takeover of the galaxy in an iron-fisted, murder lots of people sort of way, right? We saw what they did to Alderaan with the Death Star. They just blew up a planet because they're like, whatevs, you know? You should have told us the right answer first. So there's a lot of that and a lot of really dark undercurrent happening. This is exactly what it would have felt like in a galaxy. Bereft of Jedi, right? They've all been executed in Order 66, as far as we're aware, executed. And so there's really no savior, at least publicly. It's all kind of behind the scenes type stuff. We get Mon Mothma. And interesting, they have this Loyalist Committee is a deleted scene from Revenge of the Sith. This is how an actual rebellion begins.
Now that he has control of the Jedi Council, the Chancellor has appointed governors to oversee all star systems in the Republic.
When did this happen?
Oh, that decree was posted this morning.
Do you think he'll dismantle the Senate?
Why bother? As a practical matter, the Senate no longer exists.
The Constitution is in shreds. Amendment after amendment.
We cannot let 1,000 years of democracy disappear without a fight.
What are you suggesting?
Suggesting? I apologize. I don't mean to sound like a separatist.
We are not separatists trying to leave the Republic. We are loyalists trying to preserve democracy in the Republic.
I can't believe it has come to this. Chancellor Palpatine is one of my oldest advisors. He served as my ambassador when I was queen.
Senator, I fear you underestimate the amount of corruption that has taken hold in the Senate.
The Chancellor has played the Senate as well. They know where the power lies, and they will do whatever it takes to share in it.
And we cannot continue debating about this any longer. We have decided to do what we can to stop it. Senator Mon Mothma and I are putting together an organization.
Say no more, Senator. I understand. At this point, some things are better left unsaid.
Agreed. And so we will not discuss this with anyone without everyone in this group agreeing.
That means those closest to you, even family. No one can be told.
Agreed.
So you see, things are starting to get dangerous. And not just dangerous, things are starting to get extremely dangerous to even whisper. You see how they tiptoed around it. And it's unfortunate that some of the more subtle bubblings, beginnings, brewing of the actual rebellion itself have kind of been stifled and really not put front and center for us to enjoy. And I think that's what's so fantastic about Andor to me, because in the space of what we just saw and that Loyalist Committee, right, is what they're known as, it becomes cloak and dagger because they're being watched, because again, increased surveillance, again, more and more brutal. They've got these, again, corporate security forces, which presumably are probably going to be replaced by stormtroopers at some point. And so that's what we're looking at. This is fantastic. I can't be more excited about Star Wars in the current frame, especially when we have writing like this, especially when we have stories like this. This is gritty. This is good. This is a slow burn. This is fantastic stuff. And for the people that say this doesn't feel like Star Wars to me, just remember, there's a big galaxy. The Outer Rim planets, there are so many we don't even know the names of. And think about what a galactic rebellion actually looks like in those terms. It's a little bit terrifying, all the people who had to stick their neck out to go against the Empire. And this is great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to do some episode breakdowns and talk about my thoughts on these. What did you guys think about Andor? Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.